Describe the last couple of weeks here in LA.
I think perspective is the first thing that comes to mind, Coach. You just look at what a blessing it is to be a part of the NFL and the platform it provides and this team. But, you start talking about things that are a little bit bigger, a lot bigger than football, where you're taking care of your families. You see how many people in this community have been affected. I've just been really proud of the way that our group has handled it and the way that they've represented the city the right way, the way that they've kind of come together and everything that sports is about, being able to provide a temporary relief for a lot of people that are grieving and going through some challenging times. I've been proud of them. I've been proud of this organization, for the amount of people that were affected, having to evacuate. Families are uncertain, to be able to band together and go to Arizona and have everybody there. It was a cool thing. And here we are now getting ready for Philadelphia.
Yeah, I texted you on Monday.
Yeah.
And I said, for all your amazing success as a coach so far in your career, I thought that was your best coaching job. Did you have to change how you coached the team last week to get them ready for that game?
I think the best thing about this group, Coach Garrett, is you're just authentic about, man, this is a strange situation, guys. Let's make sure that we take care of, number one, our families, friends, loved ones, everybody's okay. Once you check that box, now let's have, our ability to be totally and completely present. Let's have the right urgency. Let's enjoy the opportunity that you guys have earned to play in games like this. And we got such a good youthful energy on this football team with veteran leaders like Matthew and Cooper, Rob Havenstein, Higbees. And it's been a fun group. I don't know if we've had a lot of unique experiences, and you just never know what comes up. But I was just proud of the way these guys handled it. But I wasn't surprised. That's the coolest thing I could say.
Was there any moment, though, the mindset and mentality that you need to play this game at a high level in the playoffs? Was there any moment where you said to yourself, I don't know if we're going to be mentally ready? There's so much stuff going on.
I don't know that I felt that, but when we're getting ready on Thursday, we're practicing here, and then you see behind our facilities huge smoke go off in the distance in the Calabasas area, Woodland Hills, that affects a lot of our players, their families, a lot of staff, coaches, and we're trying to have what is our Wednesday practice plan on Monday night. You could feel there was a real distraction. I was distracted, because my wife and little boy have to evacuate. You get off the field, you say, all right, all these people are displaced. Now they're moving the game to Arizona. There was a temporary, man, this is a lot. But our guys have just handled it beautifully. I think Mr. Kroenke and the organization, in terms of being able to kind of put their arms around people and make it as comfortable as possible, has been key and critical. But I don't know that I ever felt like it was too much. But it was certainly a lot at certain points.
How about balancing using this as a rallying cry, but also maintaining the proper perspective for what people are actually going through?
That's exactly right. And I think there was an understanding. What we talked about last week was let's represent. Not about winning and losing the game, but let's represent the way that a team plays, how connected, how much enjoyment, how much you guys support each other through the ebbs and flows, whether that be good or bad. What kind of energy, what kind of mental and physical toughness are we putting on tape that when people watch, they say, man, I want to root for that team. And I thought those guys did that, and it ended up leading to the result that we got. But that was the important thing, and I think they understood that was a privilege to be able to provide that temporary relief for people. They represented the city the right way, and LA together, and I was damn proud of the group and the way that they handled all of it. Not getting the win, but just the way they went about their work, and I don't think it's by coincidence that it ended up resulting the way that it did because of that approach.
Yeah, you should be proud. I've always been amazed by your influences. So much success early on in your career. And I reflect on the people who impacted you along the way. And I'm wondering about those people and then how that helped you navigate this situation.
Well, I think the first thing is my grandfather, John, rest in peace. He's been an incredible influence on me. Got into coaching. He was the head coach of the Giants. Ended up getting into personnel with the 49ers for all those years. Just so willing to share. Had such a steady, even-keeled demeanor. And then my dad, Tim McVay, has been an incredible influence. I watched him lead a television station as the general manager, watching the way that he treated people, first name basis. Didn't matter what your title was. You were going to be treated with respect, care, but there was going to be an urgency that was required in terms of what we're looking for. And then obviously, the Gruden family's been incredible to me, Coach. The Shanahans, being able to work for Mike Shanahan, he gives me my first position job. And, Bruce Allen is another guy that's been incredibly influential.
That's great. You said after the game, we're built for this.
Yeah.
Okay, you come back, it's a Monday night game, you get back here, you got a short week, you're traveling east to Philadelphia,
Yep.
It's going to be 32 degrees and snowy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now we got to kind of do it again. How do you get the team mentally ready to go at it again?
Well, I think it's another challenge that we need to be able to overcome. And, it's funny, Cris Peterson, who's a good friend of mine, he had sent me a little thing, it's kind of, just a little ornament, if you will, that says, built for this. And before I was going to address the team last week, before we were getting ready to go to Arizona, I was frustrated, and you're going to be real with the guys, and for a lot of different reasons. You feel behind in the preparation, you're uncertain about just, what's going on and how big that is and the priorities. And then I looked down and I said, man, I think this team is built for this. They're built for different adversities. They're a resilient group. They've handled a bunch of different things throughout the course of this journey we've been on, and I believe that. And that's all they've shown me up to this point. And this is arguably as great a challenge as we've seen yet. It's a great football team. There's a lot of reasons for us to say we're not going to be ready to go. It's a quick turnaround. It's at Philly, weather different than what we're accustomed to. But we're not going to allow that to be an excuse not to be ready to roll. And we got a lot of respect for these guys. They're excellent. They humbled us in a big way in Week 12. But we're looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, let's go back to that Week 12 matchup.
Let's not.
With these guys. What'd you learn from that game?
I think what you learned is that number one, that represented us getting to 5-6. Very humbling night. I thought they controlled the line of scrimmage on both fronts. I didn't think I did a good enough job, or we collectively of putting our guys in the right spots. We had a chance driving the football early. We turned it over on our fifth play down in scoring position. But really, they just kind of overwhelmed us, and they took control of the game in the second half. Obviously, the run game, they did an excellent job getting that going. If you let Saquon get a vertical seam to the second and third level, as we both know, he can finish, and he's as dynamic as it gets. But we've got to do a great job of having the strain and the stamina to be able to sustain through 4 quarters, knowing that they have a certain style of play that they want to be able to control the games with, and we have to be able to match that.
Is there any advantage of being a team that lost the first game in the rematch?
I don't know about that. I think what there is there's an appreciation for how real it is and how on the screws you need to be if you're going to try to be able to do what you want to do. You can't ever mimic and emulate what it's like to feel that offensive line lean on you and watch Saquon get through the second level and that speed if you take one false step. You can't mimic and emulate what it's like to watch those front four create havoc and how clean and crisp they are with how connected they are on the back seven and how good of a job they do of being able to mix it up and play the game on their terms. We know that. And I think there's an understanding, but there's an appreciation of we love these challenges, and we're going to go swing in a hostile environment, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Talk about challenges. Who stresses you out more, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, or that guy Jalen Carter?
Yeah, they all do. They all stress you out. And as you know, you have to pick and choose your spots. That's what makes them so good. You can't have it all your ways. And so you have to be mindful. Those are all impact players that can change the game immediately. And so you have to understand where their play opportunities, what's the intent of what we're trying to get done to try to be able to minimize their impact. But they're going to make their plays. There's a reason why they're in the final 8. They were right neck and neck for being able to compete for the number 1 seed, and they've played as good a football as anybody in this league after those first 4 games. And this is a great challenge, but wouldn't want it any other way.
Yeah. Number 1 defense in the NFL.
Yep.
What's the big coaching point for number 9 this week?
I think make great decisions. I think making sure that we try to be able to keep the ball in play, but play his game. Great decisions, great timing, great accuracy, but trust what you see. Let the game come to you. You don't have to be anything other than be Matthew Stafford. We need our other 10 guys around him to play well. We got a lot of respect for these guys, but we have to be able to sustain drives. We have to consistently execute, and then when there are plays to be had for you to go and do your thing, you just go ahead and take advantage of it.
How do you talk to these guys about the weather? 32 degrees, 80% chance of snow at kickoff. What's the approach?
Here's the thing that I would say that does benefit us. I can't imagine it could be any colder than when we played the Jets earlier this year. I mean, that was frigid. The temperatures were really low. Now, there wasn't any snow, wasn't wet, but you at least have a familiarity with, just the cold that you can't mimic and emulate and simulate out here. My main concern is with the footing. Let's make sure that if the surface does affect the way that we're able to move around, we got our cleats, our 7 studs ready to go. Brendan Berger does an excellent job. They've got to play in those same elements. And really, the thing that's great about NFL football, hey, who plays better in that 3-hour window? Let's control what we can control, and let's not allow that to be a distraction from us being at our best.
Yeah. Give me 3 keys to the game.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, is controlling the line of scrimmage on both fronts. Doing an excellent job of not allowing their 4-man rush to be able to dictate the terms, to stop the run in the nickel front, not allowing them to be able to lean on us up front, where they can just get, good positive yardage, and then they dictate the terms and they regulate some of the things you can do on the back end. And I think it's going to be strain and stamina to be able to do that through 4 quarters. We got to be able to win one-on-one matchups. What they do a great job of is they force you to play on their terms. They're not going to pressure much. 4-man rush. They play tight, sticky coverage. You got to be able to, win those isolations, win your matchups. And then on the flip side, we have to be able to force them into some pass downs. You have to be sticky and get connected in coverage and make some plays on the ball, but easier said than done.
You're a fantastic football coach. You know something? You're a better leader and a better guy.
I appreciate that.
This team, this community is lucky to have you, man.
No, hey, that means a lot,
You're
Coach.
awesome. Way to go.
Man.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.